In 2021, a group of anonymous internet strangers pooled together $47 million in just 72 hours, with no CEO, no board of directors, and no legal entity of any kind. They almost bought a copy of the United States Constitution. That organization was called Constitution DAO. And it changed how millions of people understood what a company could actually be. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover exactly what a DAO is, how it works under the hood, why some of the smartest money in the world is betting on this model, and the one critical flaw in the entire system that almost nobody talks about even though it threatens everything DAOs are supposed to stand for. If you have ever wondered whether blockchain can actually change how humans organize, coordinate, and make decisions together, this video is for you. Stay with us. Background: to understand DAOs, you have to understand the problem they are trying to solve. Traditional organizations, corporations, nonprofits, governments all share a common structure. Power flows from the top down. A small group of people make decisions for a much larger group of stakeholders. Shareholders, employees, and customers rarely have a meaningful say in how the organization actually operates. This model has worked for centuries, but it comes with serious drawbacks. Corruption, mismanagement, lack of transparency, and misaligned incentives have caused some of the largest institutional failures in history. The idea of a decentralized autonomous organization was first articulated seriously in the early days of the Ethereum blockchain, around 2013 and 2014. Vitalik Buterin, Ethereum's co-founder, wrote about the concept of organizations where the rules of governance were encoded directly into smart contracts, self-executing code that lives on the blockchain and cannot be altered by any single party. The vision was radical: an organization that runs itself according to pre-agreed rules, with no need for traditional management hierarchies. The first major attempt to build one was simply called the DAO, launched in April 2016. It raised over $150 million worth of Ether from more than 11,000 investors, making it the largest crowdfunding event in history at that time. It was a venture capital fund with no fund managers. Token holders voted on which projects to fund. It lasted 11 weeks before a hacker exploited a vulnerability in its code and drained roughly $60 million worth of Ether. The fallout was so significant that it caused the Ethereum community to split into two separate blockchains, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic, a moment that remains one of the most controversial in crypto history. Main content: so what exactly is a DAO in practical terms? A DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization, is a member-owned community with no central leadership. Its rules are encoded in smart contracts on a public blockchain. Decisions are made collectively by members who hold governance tokens. Those tokens represent voting power. The more tokens you hold, the more influence you have over proposals. Here is how a typical DAO actually works. Someone submits a proposal. It could be about spending treasury funds, changing a protocol rule, or onboarding a new team. Token holders then vote on that proposal within a defined window, usually several days. If the proposal reaches a certain threshold of approval, the smart contract executes it automatically. No CEO needs to sign off. No board needs to convene. The code does exactly what the governance process decided. As of 2024, there are over 10,000 active DAOs operating across multiple blockchains, collectively managing treasury assets worth tens of billions of dollars. MakerDAO, which governs the DAI stablecoin, manages a treasury and protocol with over $8 billion in total value locked. Uniswap's DAO controls a treasury worth over $3 billion. These are not small experiments. These are significant financial entities making real decisions. Every single day. But here is what nobody talks about when they explain DAOs. Voter participation rates are catastrophically low. Studies of major DAOs consistently show that fewer than 10% of token holders actually vote on proposals. In many cases, the number is closer to 1 or 2%. This means the promise of decentralized governance often collapses into a situation where a handful of large token holders, sometimes called whales, effectively control all meaningful decisions. The math of token-weighted voting almost guarantees plutocracy unless very deliberate countermeasures are built into the system. This brings us to the deeper mechanics of DAO governance and why it is far more nuanced than the marketing materials suggest. There are actually several different types of DAO structures, each designed for a specific purpose. Protocol DAOs govern decentralized finance platforms. Compound, Aave, and Uniswap are classic examples. Their governance tokens allow holders to vote on interest rate adjustments, new asset listings, and security upgrades. Grant DAOs exist to distribute funding to projects building within an ecosystem. Gitcoin DAO has distributed over $50 million in grants to open-source developers since its founding. These organizations function almost like decentralized philanthropic foundations. Social DAOs are member clubs organized around a shared identity or interest. Friends with Benefits, known as FWB, is a cultural DAO where membership requires holding a certain amount of FWB tokens. It has grown into a global network of artists, creators, and technologists with chapters in multiple cities. Investment DAOs pool capital from members to make collective investment decisions. The LAO and Flamingo DAO are prominent examples operating as on-chain venture funds, with members voting on which NFTs or early-stage projects to acquire. Collector DAOs, like the one that formed Constitution DAO, pool resources to acquire specific high-value assets. Pleaser DAO famously purchased the original Wu-Tang Clan album Once Upon a Time in Shaolin for over $4 million. Deep Dive now let us go deeper into the technology that makes all of this possible, because the smart contract layer is where the real innovation lives. Smart contracts are programs stored on a blockchain that run automatically when predetermined conditions are met. In a DAO, they handle treasury management, vote tallying, proposal execution, and token distribution without any human intermediary touching the process. Most major DAOs today use governance frameworks like Open Zeppelin Governor or custom-built systems. Compound pioneered the Bravo governance model, which became the template that dozens of other protocols copied. Snapshot is a popular off-chain voting tool that reduces gas costs by allowing token holders to signal preferences without submitting on-chain transactions, though the final execution still happens on-chain. One of the most fascinating developments in DAO governance is the rise of delegation. Rather than requiring every token holder to research and vote on every proposal, which is unrealistic at scale, many DAOs now allow token holders to delegate their voting power to trusted community members or professional delegates who vote on their behalf. This creates a representative democracy layer on top of the token-weighted base layer. Gitcoin and ENS DAO have built particularly sophisticated delegation ecosystems. Then there is the legal dimension, which is genuinely one of the most complex and unresolved issues in the entire space. Most DAOs have no formal legal status. This creates enormous liability questions. If a DAO makes a bad decision that loses user funds, who is legally responsible? Some jurisdictions are beginning to answer this. Wyoming became the first U.S. state to recognize DAOs as limited liability companies in 2021. The Marshall Islands followed. But global legal clarity remains years away. Analysis: the real-world implications of DAOs extend far beyond cryptocurrency. Think about what it would mean if communities could govern local infrastructure decisions through on-chain voting. Think about supply chains where every participant in a network, farmers, logistics companies, retailers, all hold governance tokens and collectively make decisions about standards and compensation. Think about creative industries where fans of an artist collectively own and manage the rights to that artist's catalog. These are not hypotheticals. They are experiments actively happening right now. Nouns DAO auctions one NFT every single day, with all proceeds going to a community treasury that members vote to deploy. It has funded physical products, charitable initiatives, and cultural events entirely through decentralized governance. Mirror Protocol allows writers to fund and distribute their work through DAO structures where readers become stakeholders. The DAO model is also being tested in humanitarian contexts. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Block Vault Daily for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.